Hello guys, welcome to Palace to the Core. My name is Stephen Dawes and today I am talking about the game between Leeds United and Crystal Palace. Now, unfortunately the house is full of a certain virus which I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube, but it's a virus that we've been dealing with for a few years now, so that's why I haven't made a couple of videos lately, but I had to make a video about this game because it was absolutely amazing, and I'm sure you've seen it. So coming into this game I was a little bit concerned because obviously the Leicester game was a good game. We managed to get the win in the end, but you know, part of me thought, well, it's Leicester City. They're not playing very well. It's not necessarily the type of game that you know we dominated the game. We got loads of shots, but you know, could we do it again? Could we do it against a Leeds side that have just got a new manager last a few games ago? They're doing okay. You know, they're doing better than they were. They've not lost and not dropped any points since he's arrived. So I was wondering whether we would be able to maintain that kind of level of play against Leeds United. And first half, I have to say, it was a little bit difficult. Talking quickly about the teams, which I'm going to put somewhere here. We had Sam Johnson in goal because Vincente Gaeta has another problem with his calf. Obviously, we had no Wilfred Zaha because of his groin problem. So Sam Johnson was in goal. I'm going to talk about him a bit later on. But so yeah, we started the first half, a little bit. We looked a little bit unsure of ourselves, a little bit kind of wary, and that allowed Leeds United to get on top of their game early in the first half. And really, for the rest of the first half, they were kind of dominating the play, which was a little bit of a concern to me. And then on 20 odd minutes when they got the goal, I was quite unsure whether we were going to get anything from the game at all because they looked like they were in the ascendancy and they were playing very well. When it got to half time, of course, we got the equaliser thanks to Mark Gahey, and at that point I thought, well, that's okay to go in at 1-1 rather than 1-0 down. I think that helped them a little bit in terms of not letting their heads drop and stuff like that. So, but the first half we were just a little bit lackluster. We were just a little bit slow sometimes. We weren't closing down as well as we know we can do. So at half time, Eze said, he mentioned at half time that Roy Hodgson gave them a lot of information to deal with for the second half, which included getting to the second balls a lot better and running in behind defenders and things like this and trying to get in front of the back four and stuff like that. Just general, what sounded like basic stuff, but things that I think maybe they hadn't quite taken in. So second half they came out and it was like a completely different team. We had lots of flair from Elise, we had lots of flair from Eze. AU was playing well. The whole team actually played really well, and it was certainly shows similar to the Leicester game. They're playing with a lot more freedom with Roy Hodgson. I don't know exactly what the setup or the tactics were with Patrick Vieira, but towards the end they looked like they didn't really have a plan. They looked like they were kind of just they were trying to play but not really playing, if you know what I mean. They were trying to do the things they've been told to do, but they weren't working. And I think Roy Hodgson going back to basics and going back to his belief that just keep things simple and then build from there. I think that's worked really well. Then of course the goals started flying in, and you had a goal from Eze, and then you had 2 goals from Jordan Ayew. I mean, 2 goals from Jordan Ayew, who hasn't scored for ages, and it's just unbelievable. It really was unbelievable. And you've got to think about all of the the fact that we hadn't scored any goals for so many games before that, and now we were popping them in left, right, and centre, and of course it ended up being 5-1 to Crystal Palace, which is an absolutely amazing result against the Leeds team that was on the resurgence. So absolutely fantastic play, and the second half I think we absolutely completely stormed it, completely different side, and I was really pleased with the result in the end. I thought we did incredibly well. A couple of things that I wanted to talk about in particular was first of all, Sam Johnson. I think he had a really good game. He made some very good saves during the game, and I think that he will continue in there if Gaeta isn't available. Whether he should start instead of Gaeta, I don't know. I think maybe if Gaeta isn't having a good period of time, maybe Johnson should come in for a few games. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that. I think Eze. I think Eze arguably had, from my point of view, arguably had the best game he's had since he came back from injury. He was, doing all the little run ins and outs. He was taking on players and stuff like that, things he hadn't done for ages. And it caused a few people actually to say that he wasn't a Premier League player, that he was a Championship player. I think this shows that he is a Premier League player. He's just being allowed to play, as with a lot of other players, play in their natural positions, play in a position that they know that they can play in well and that they believe in themselves in. If you've got someone who's playing in the middle normally, and you shove them out left or right, they're not necessarily going to be in familiar territory for them. So, playing players in the positions that they're used to, I think, has gone a long way to helping these things out. Elise, what can I say about Elise? Absolutely amazing. So many assists he got in that game, especially in the second half. And, again, I think he's arguably had the best game in a Palace shirt since he started. I think that was his best game in a Palace shirt because, I know there was that one with the goals, amazing goal he scored, but in overall general play, I think this was probably the best game he's had for Crystal Palace yet. And and that's fantastic as well. It shows you that Roy Hodgson is allowing these players to play. You got you got AU, going forward, taking players on, weaving around, stuff like that. You've got these players who previously didn't really want to do or weren't allowed to do that kind of stuff. Now they're being given the freedom to do it. And I think, yes, you've got to put it into perspective. It's Leicester City and it's Leeds United, two teams that are down with us in the relegation fight. Obviously you've got to put that into perspective. But I think we've got a team that I don't think should be where it is. I think that, but the quality in this team and the way that we can play, I think we shouldn't be in 12th position. We shouldn't be fighting with the other teams below us. We should be clear. And I think that it shows that Roy Hodgson can do other things. In his last season at Crystal Palace, everyone was saying that he was choosing the wrong tactics, the wrong players and things like that. I think he was just doing the best with what he had. And that shows, I think, because this time he said himself he's got more quality in the side. He's allowing that quality to play. He's making substitutions, whereas previously he would hardly make a substitution. And I think that was probably because he didn't have anyone who could bring on that would make any difference, or anyone that was the same as what he already had on the pitch. So I think, you're seeing a different side to Roy Hodgson's play as well, that he's got some quality players in the side. He's able to do the things that maybe he wanted to do before. Another big takeaway that I'm taking out of this game is the fact that we scored 5 goals and we had such an amazing game in the second half against Leeds United without Wilfried Zaha. That for me is huge, because I think if we do lose Zaha at the end of the season, which I'm coming to the point to say that we are going to lose him, I think we're not going to be as afraid to say we can't continue without him or we can't win without him, because we can, and we've shown that we can. Elise and Eze can play that role and can do that really well, and we have other players who can take on that mantle. So I think for me, that was another big takeaway for me, the fact that he wasn't playing, but we still managed to convincingly beat Leeds, especially in the second half especially. But I think we just need a bit more belief. As Roy Hodgson said, I think we just need to not be afraid, and I think there was a little bit of that in the first half, but second half that stopped, that went away, and they were able to play the game that they really know and can play very well. So immense game, absolutely fantastic performance by the team. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, of course. Let me know what you think about the game itself, and are there any particular players that stood out for you that you want to talk about. I just think that going forward now we're going to have obviously we're going to have really tough games. I think the next game is Southampton, which of course is going to be a tough game because they're still going to want to fight for every game that they've got coming up. So it's a different type of game against them. So hopefully we can come out and do the same again. Let me know what you think down in the comment section as always, and I'll see you later.